All right, so today we are unlocking what we're calling the ethical vault. We're going to dive into the fascinating and honestly pretty complicated intersection of artificial intelligence and social work. You have this field that is built entirely on human trust, and now it's coming face to face with technology that promises incredible efficiency, but it also raises some really big questions about privacy and ethics. Let's get into it.
You know, the story of AI and social work really starts with a very human, very relatable problem. Just a mountain of paperwork. I mean, from clinical notes to grant applications, practitioners are spending so much time on administrative tasks, sometimes even more time than they spend with their actual clients. And this pressure point? Well, that's the exact spot where AI makes its grand entrance.
And you can totally see the appeal. For professionals like Dr. Marina Badillo-Diaz, it was immediate. She started seeing these videos online and thought, hey, I can use a tool like ChatGPT for marketing my business. It's a super low-stakes way to generate some ideas and save a ton of time. It was simple, it was fast, and it just worked. Her experience is really the perfect snapshot of why AI is so tempting for busy professionals everywhere.
Okay, but this is where the stakes change, like dramatically. Moving from writing marketing copy to handling clinical case notes, that is a monumental leap. So what happens when a tool that was designed for general public information crosses the threshold into one of the most private, sensitive spaces in our society?
So, let's look at this a little closer. AI's promise versus the reality on the ground for social workers. Right now, many are using AI almost like a personal assistant. Drafting emails, creating workshop outlines, things like that. It's really about what Dr. Badillo-Diaz calls working smarter, not harder. Just trying to get some time back to focus on what actually matters, which is client care.
And this brings us right to the heart of the issue, crossing that digital privacy line. I mean, using AI for basic admin tasks seems totally harmless, right? But it immediately runs up against a social worker's most sacred duty, client confidentiality. The second, and I mean the second any client information gets involved, we're not talking about efficiency anymore. We're talking about privacy, security, and the law.
In the United States, the big law everyone knows is HIPAA. And for our viewers up in Canada, the equivalent is PIPEDA. These laws aren't just guidelines. They exist to protect incredibly sensitive patient information and to maintain that crucial element of trust. They create a hard boundary, a line in the sand. Any tool that handles client data must be compliant. It's not a suggestion, it's a legal and ethical requirement. And this right here lays out the crucial difference. On one side, you have the general AI tools most of us know, like ChatGPT or Gemini. They're awesome, often free, but they are not compliant, and your data might actually be used to train the model further. Then, on the other side, you have compliant tools specifically built for healthcare. They're secure, they're encrypted, but they usually require a subscription. It's that classic trade-off, convenience versus security.
So, if you take away only one thing from our conversation today, please let it be this. This is the golden rule. Never, ever input any identifiable client information into a public, non-compliant AI tool. No names, no addresses, not even seemingly small details. The risk of a privacy breach and violating laws like HIPAA or PIPEDA is just way too high. But the story doesn't just end with a big warning sign. A whole new toolkit of compliant AI is starting to emerge. These are tools built from the ground up to work securely inside of healthcare's strict ethical boundaries. And this technology offers a real path forward.
And here are just a few examples of what's out there. You've got tools like BastionGPT, which basically gives you the power of ChatGPT, but in a secure HIPAA-compliant package. Others, like Social Work Magic AI, have templates specifically designed for the profession. And then you have AI scribes. These can record sessions and generate notes, but, and this is so important, they require explicit written consent from the client, consent that can be taken back at any time.
Okay, but even with the best tools, technology has its limits. The promise of efficiency is great, but it can't be allowed to overshadow the absolutely non-negotiable role of professional judgment. AI can be an assistant, for sure, but it cannot and it should not replace the clinician. Because just relying on raw AI output is incredibly risky. As ethics experts have warned, AIs can literally hallucinate. They can just make up facts and put them in clinical notes. They miss all the crucial nonverbal stuff, body language, tone. And, as lawyers point out, full recordings of sessions can actually be subpoenaed in court, creating this massive liability. A single unedited mistake in a note could totally destroy a social worker's professional credibility. And this quote from Dr. Badillo-Diaz really just says it all, doesn't it? A social worker isn't a data entry clerk.
They are a trained professional, and their analysis, their empathy, their critical thinking, it's all indispensable. The AI is a tool in their hands, not the other way around.
So, how does the entire field of social work move forward from here? Well, it's going to take a systemic approach. It means building an ethical framework from a bunch of different directions all at once to help guide how this powerful new technology gets integrated.
And we're already seeing this happen on 3 key fronts. First, you've got new laws popping up that are setting those essential guardrails. Second, professional groups like the NASW are creating task forces to figure out new standards and best practices. And third, universities are now teaching AI ethics, making sure the next generation of social workers is ready for these new challenges from day one.
And a huge part of that education has to be about something called algorithmic bias. See, AI systems learn from data that we humans create, and that data contains all of our existing biases. So for example, if an AI is trained on old data to predict child welfare risk, it might unfairly flag families in low-income or minority communities, not because the risk is actually higher, but because those communities have been historically over-policed. This is how AI can end up amplifying discrimination against the very people social work is supposed to protect. Which brings us to our main conclusion here. AI is not a neutral technology. It's an incredibly powerful instrument for sure. It can streamline workflows and free up practitioners to focus on their clients. But it has to be used with caution, with critical thinking, and with a deep respect for the human element that is at the absolute heart of social work.
And that really leaves us with this final question. And honestly, this isn't just a conversation for social workers, it's for all of us. As these powerful tools get woven deeper and deeper into the fabric of our society, how do we make sure that AI serves our humanity and not just our efficiency? The answer to that is going to define the future of care. Thanks for watching.